Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakammalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विषवानुसुत देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्री वसादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, thank you all for coming. Quick announcements first. So today at the Toronto Temple, we have the Gundi Chaklina. So all those who are in Toronto and around area, please come for services, follow my messages and connect with me. We'll be doing services from around 12 noon. So today we started, that's why early, so that we can end early and we can reach the temple after getting shower and getting ready. The next announcement is that next week, which is Saturday, July 11th and Sunday, July 12th is Rath Yatra in Toronto. So for next week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will not have classes. So Friday, July 10th, no class. Saturday, July 11th, no class. And Sunday, July 12th, no class. I will send Prabhupada lectures for you to listen to. And for those of you who are in Toronto and around area, I've sent you messages that there are service opportunities from Thursday, July 9th onwards. So please look at your messages and respond to me as soon as is possible for you. So today we will discuss inquiries submitted by you all from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8. A lot of inquiries, and I also want to finish early. So we'll go a little faster. And all of you, those who will be reading, please read a little faster as well. Question number 1. I worry that I am becoming like a Gyan yogi who is simply collecting scriptural knowledge without allowing it to transform me. I read the scriptures, chant, and visit the temple. But when I honestly look within myself, I still see envy, jealousy, anger, pride, and other unwanted qualities. I feel very far from actually living everything that I am reading. So questions are: 1, is simply reading, hearing, and chanting enough if I'm not able to fully implement the teachings? So let me answer one question at a time. This is really, really super excellent practical inquiry and being able to see the anarthas. Because only when you are able to see the mind, you'll be able to control the mind. Similarly, only when you are able to see the anarthas is when you will be able to purify the anarthas. So simply hearing is in itself virtuous and purifying, according to Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17. We'll soon read. And by serving pure devotees, spiritual master, you will be able to also apply, because by serving spiritual master, the Bhakti Devi from the spiritual master's heart gets manifested in the heart of the disciple. Exactly what happened for the 5-year-old Shudra boy who served the Bhakti Vedantas, and this 5-year-old Shudra boy goes on to become the pure devotee we know as Srila Narad Muni, which we have discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapters 5 and 6. So here right now we'll recite Bhagavatam 1.2.16 and 17 as the answer for this inquiry. Both are key memorization verses. Abhishek Prabhu can please recite 16 and 17 translations, recite the verse and then translations also. I have 16 on the screen. Abhishek, we cannot hear you. All right, Priyanka.
Hare Krishna. Shushrushor Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Katha Ruchir Shayan Mahatsevaya Vipraha Punyatirtha Nishve Vanat. Translation: O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudev. 17.
17.
Shrinvatam swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayantasto abhadrani vidunoti suhritsatam. Translation: Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the pure devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Hare Krishna.
Right, so hear these messages which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard from a bona fide spiritual master's mouth. So hearing itself is purifying, no doubt about it. But then you have to practice. We'll read few verses on the practice. For example, in Bhagavad Gita 13.26, Krishna says to practice what you are hearing. Raksha, you want to read the translation 13.26 Bhagavad Gita?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Translation. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death.
Right, so they begin to worship, means that they are following what they heard. That even those who do not know spirituality, if they start worshipping Gopinath and apply what they have heard from bona fide authorities, then even such materialistic person can get purified. So we have to apply what we hear and discuss. And therefore, at the start of every class, I do say that thank you for coming in and taking the responsibility for applying Srila Prabhupada and Krishna's teachings in your respective lives. The next question says, how do I ensure that my study becomes genuine bhakti and not just accumulation of knowledge? And the further question is, what practical steps can I take to uproot these unwanted qualities from the root? So, Nectar of Devotion, chapter 13 provides 5 most potent forms of devotional service out of the 64 items of devotional service. Even one of these 5 most potent forms of devotional service can fast forward your spiritual life. These 5 most potent forms of devotional service are: 1. Worshipping Gopinath; 2nd, hearing and reading Srimad Bhagavatam; 3rd, devotee association; 4th, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra; and 5th is living in Mathura. The solution is Bhakti Yoga is the perfect and easier process to achieve the goal of uprooting the unwanted qualities. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it describes that Gyan yogis, Ashtang yogis also purify to a certain extent, but the root remains in there, means the root is not completely destroyed. Therefore, they fall down back to the material world instead of going back all the way to the spiritual world with their endeavor. But Bhakti Yoga purifies at the root. So Bhakti Yoga is the solution. We'll soon read from Bhagavatam 4.20.15, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says that apply what you are hearing. Let me bring up 420.15. Abhishek Prabhu, you want to try now? Translation and paragraph number 1. We still cannot hear you. Ritu, translation and paragraph number 1.
Hare Krishna. Lord Vishnu continued, My dear King Prithu, if you continue to protect the citizens according to the instructions of the learned Brahmana authorities, as they are received by the disciplic succession, by hearing from master to disciple, and if you follow the religious principles laid down by them, without attachment to ideas manufactured by mental concoction, then every one of your citizens will be happy and will love you. And very soon you will be able to see such already liberated personalities as the 4 Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, Sanadana, and Sanat Kumara. Lord Vishnu advised King Prithu that everyone should follow the principles of Varnashram Dharma. Then, in whatever capacity one remains within this world, within this material world, his salvation is guaranteed after death. In this age, however, since the system of Varnashram Dharma is topsy-turvy, it is very difficult to strictly follow all the principles. The only method for becoming perfect in life is to develop Krishna consciousness. As Varnashram Dharma is executed from different positions by different men, so the Krishna consciousness principles can be followed by everyone in every part of the world. Hare Krishna.
Right, so it says Krishna conscious principles can be followed. So we have to apply. A simple solution for this very important inquiry number 1 is immediately approach a bona fide spiritual master for initiation, and spiritual master will engage you in practical services. So last week, I asked all of you to have an offline conversation with me within the next 2 to 4 days. Not everybody followed on that. You are so scared. Some of you did, but not every, I said 100%. Whether or not you have had previous discussion with me, whether or not you are ready for initiation, whether you already are on the path, I said does not matter. Everybody please have an immediately offline conversation with me so that you can immediately get under the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master's umbrella. As long as my Gabbar Singh chant is there, take advantage of my Gabbar Singh chant. Once this is gone, it's gone, and then you will be on your own. So I repeat my last week's request. Everybody, 100% of you, those virtually present, those listening to the class recordings, immediately have an offline conversation with me, no matter what your situation is. Is that doable by everybody? Although everybody last week also said yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, 100%.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Question number 2. For chanting the holy name, why are we advised to wake up during Brahma Muhurta? Is it necessary to light a diya and chant at that time, or is chanting with focus, attentive effort sufficient? So we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 that early morning around Brahma Muhurta time, the mode of goodness is more prevalent. During initial stages of devotional life, we have to aim to be in mode of goodness more and more. Therefore, chanting during Brahma Muhurta helps with the quality of japa. So there are no hard and fast rules for chanting japa. If you want, you can also offer lamp to Gopinath and then chant, or you can just chant even without offering lamp. Either way is okay. Focus should be on attentive chanting. There are a couple more questions on chanting. Let me first answer all of that and then we'll pause for your realizations on these. Question number 3. Is it possible that Maya Devi increases sleepiness during Ekadashi Brahma Muhurta so that we need to make extra effort to stay awake and alert? So we have discussed in Bhagavad Gita 14.10 that each of the modes always keep pulling in different directions. It is not just at specific time or specific day like Ekadashi that the modes will pull. No. Rather, the competition among the modes is 24 hours, 365 days for as long as you live, 100 years or whatever timeline it is. Question number 4 continues on the japa part, that if we have slept late the previous night, is it okay to go back to sleep after Brahma Muhurta ends, or is it better to complete all 16 rounds in one sitting, starting from Brahma Muhurta itself? So whether you are chanting during Brahma Muhurta or rest of the day, if you can chant all 16 rounds in one sitting, it is okay. If you split chanting few rounds at a time, that is also okay. There are no hard and fast rules. Our focus should be not just to chant, rather focus should be to improve the quality of chanting. So if chanting few rounds with attention, then you take a break and come back to chant few rounds with attention, that works, then try that. Now important is what to do in the break after the few rounds. We have discussed in Bhagavad Gita chapter 14 at the very start that we need to take shelter of Krishna's philosophy as well. And my spiritual master says that in that break after the few rounds of japa, you read 1 or 2 verses from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, either the Sanskrit and or English and or the purport. By this, you are placing Krishna in your mind via Krishna's words in Bhagavad Gita. This placing Krishna in the mind is the strongest deterrent against mind wandering. So after reading 1 or 2 verses, again do some more rounds of japa, then again read 1 verse and again get back to doing japa. So there is no rule that you have to complete all 16 rounds in one sitting. Rather, important is to listen to your japa and focus your mind on Krishna and hearing japa. There is one more question, number 5 on japa, and then I will pause for your all reflections. Question number 5, very important question also. How can we improve our morning japa routine for a better consistency? So I already answered this on Friday's Nectar of Devotion class. Almost identical question was asked. Chanting is work in progress for many, including myself. So just continue chanting, because the less quality chanting will lead to better quality chanting. Failure starts when one stops attempting. Example, a child keeps falling and the child says, I will not walk. Well, the child will then never be able to walk. But every time the child gets up after falling, he then learns and goes on to run races and marathons. Because japa is work in progress, my spiritual master, his grace Vaishesha Das Adhikari, frequently, very frequently gives lectures titled Make Japa Great Again. And just few days back, my spiritual master, His Grace Vaishesha Das Adhikari, again gave a lecture titled Make Japa Great Again, which actually has a summary points from many such Make Japa Great Again lectures. So I recommend all of you to please consider to listen to this spiritual master's this latest lecture titled Make Japa Great Again. So anyone interested can please send me an offline message to get this lecture of my spiritual master. I will pause here for your questions, comments, realizations on questions 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I was hearing somewhere that this japa is like a workout, like people go to the gym, spend 2 hours over there, then stuff proteins, artificial proteins. So instead of doing that, if you do japa, it is more beneficial and for the overall well-being.
Absolutely correct. Japa is definitely the food for the soul. So we have Rath Yatra next week here in Toronto, and you will see on the banner, the Rath Yatra banner, it will say feed your soul. Yeah, japa, all spiritual endeavors, you are feeding your souls. Absolutely correct. Thank you. So anyone interested to listen to my spiritual master, send me an offline note and I will forward that lecture to you. Question number 6. Why do people remain in darkness or material contamination in this life and in their final days rather than Krishna consciousness? We have discussed in Nectar of Devotion that ignorance is the root cause of material existence. And Kunti Maharani also summarizes material existence in Bhagavatam 1.8.35 in 3 words. She says, Avidya Kama Karma Bhi. That because of ignorance, avidya, people are engaged in fruitive work in the material world. The solution to destroy ignorance is devotional service, bhakti yoga. So because they are always entangled in material contamination and material engagements, well, that's what they will do at the end of their life. So we have discussed this in Bhagavad Gita 8.5 discussion also. 8.5 says, Antakale chamam eva smaran muktva kalevaram. Smaran. That what I will remember at the time of death is whatever I have been doing throughout my life. And acharyas have said, don't try to remember Krishna at the time of death because death is very difficult. Rather, try to remember Krishna throughout your life by chanting, by reading scriptures, by doing japa, by reading scriptures, engaging in services. By all this, Krishna will remember you. Krishna will help you remember Krishna. Does that answer the inquiry? Question number 7. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.1 says, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is devotional service. Hearing is an act to acquire knowledge, but here it hints that hearing Srimad Bhagavatam is not a culture of knowledge, it's a devotional service. Can you please explain the difference? We have actually discussed this difference in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.7 discussion. And I'll repeat here that what knowledge is limb of bhakti and what knowledge is not a limb of bhakti. Srila Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Devotion, definition of pure devotional service. The second line says, Jnana Karmadi Anavratam. Srila Rupa Goswami did not say Jnana Karma Adi Shunyam. No. The verse says Anya Abhilahita Shunyam. Yeah, we have to make all other aspirations zero. But Jnana Karma Adi Anavratam. Anavratam means uncover. So certain knowledge covers our bhakti. That knowledge we have to discard. And cultivation of certain knowledge is going to help us in bhakti. That knowledge we have to cultivate. We don't have to discard. So to understand the difference, the cultivation of impersonal knowledge, such as studying Vedas, Upanishad, with the goal to attain Brahman effulgence, Mayavadis and Brahmavadis do this. We don't need that knowledge. Such impersonal knowledge is definitely not a limb of bhakti. That is just you are acquiring knowledge. And then certain knowledge does not cover our bhakti, rather helps in our bhakti. Example, how we are reading and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srimad Bhagavatam is speaking about the form, qualities, sweetness of the Supreme Lord. And even at the initial sadhaka stage of sadhana, when I have not yet realized the sweetness of Krishna's qualities and pastimes, still reading Srimad Bhagavatam is a limb of bhakti. And such cultivation of knowledge of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, you are not acquiring knowledge. It's a devotional service, is a limb of bhakti. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 8. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.8.18. How is devotional service the basic principle in religions of various countries and cultures, and occupational duties of castes and orders of society? So we'll read the Prabhupada's explanation in the purport. Prabhupada explains this with an example also. So let's read 2.8.18. Kunal Prabhu, translation and purport, faster pace.
Please also explain what may generally be the common religious affiliations of human society, as well as their specific occupational duties in religion, the classification of the social orders as well as the administrative royal orders, and the religious principles for one who may be in distress. Purport. The common religion of all classes of human beings, regardless of whosoever and whatsoever one may be, is devotional service. Even the animals may be included in devotional service to the Lord. And the best example is set in Sri Vrajan Git or Hanuman, the great devotee of Lord Sri Ram. As he has already discussed, even the aborigines and cannibals can also be engaged in devotional service of the Lord if they happen to be under the guidance of a genuine devotee of the Lord. In the Skanda Purana, there is a narration that a hunter in the jungle became the most enlightened devotee of the Lord by the guidance of Sri Narad Muni. Therefore, devotional service to the Lord can be equally shared by every living being. Religious affiliations in terms of different countries and cultural circumstances is obviously not the common religion of the human being. Rather, the basic principle is devotional service. Even if a particular type of religious principle does not recognize the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the followers still have to obey the disciplinary principle laid down by a particular leader. Such a leader of a religious sect is never the supreme leader because such a circumstantial leader comes to the position of leadership after undergoing some penance. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not, however, require to be under disciplinary action to become a leader, as we see in the activities of Lord Krishna.
Right, so Prabhupada gives the example of a hunter. That even a hunter goes on to become a devotee and take on devotional service. Therefore, devotional service is the common principle to connect everyone, not otherwise. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 9. Parikshit Maharaj says that by one's own effort and with serious devotion, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam will help one to see the Lord Shri Krishna manifested in one's heart within no time. Question is, I feel that with my effort, whatever I am trying, example, reading Srimad Bhagavatam and listening to the classes, I am nowhere close to this feeling. How can I make my devotion strong? Good. Very good desire to make your devotion strong. We'll read a few verses on this. So Srimad Bhagavatam says, do not try to see Krishna. Rather, do devotional service wholeheartedly, that Krishna will come to see you. Therefore, focus on doing devotional service rather than trying to see Krishna. To make your devotion strong, I recommend that you get initiated from a bona fide spiritual master and follow and serve the instructions of your spiritual master. So I'll bring up 4.28.51. We'll read the second last paragraph, which starts with, in conclusion, let's see. Yeah. Abhishek Prabhu, faster pace. If you want to read 4.28.51, the paragraph starting in conclusion.
In conclusion, if a disciple is very serious to execute the mission of the spiritual master, he immediately associates with this Supreme Personality of Godhead by Vani or Vapu. This is the only secret of success in seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Instead of being eager to see the Lord in some bush of Vrindavan while at the same time engaging in sense gratification, if one instead sticks to the principle of following the words of the spiritual master, he will see the Supreme Lord without difficulty. Srila Bilvamangal Thakur has therefore said, I'll read the translation. If I am engaged in devotional service unto you, my dear Lord, then very easily can I perceive your presence everywhere. As far as liberation is concerned, I think that liberation stands at my door with folded hands, waiting to serve me. And all material conveniences of dharma, religiosity, artha, economic development, and kama sense gratification stand with her. Krishna Karnamrita 107. If one is very highly advanced in devotional service, he will have no difficulty in seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one engages in the service of the spiritual master, he not only sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead but attains liberation. As far as material conveniences are concerned, they automatically come just as the maid servants of a queen follow the queen wherever she goes. Liberation is no problem for the pure devotee, and all material conveniences are simply awaiting him at all stages of life.
Right. So if you engage in serving your spiritual master, then no problem in seeing the Lord. And Prabhupada also says, if a disciple executes spiritual master's orders, he immediately associates with the Lord. This is the only secret to success. Therefore, don't try to see Krishna. Focus on following spiritual master's instructions. Focus on doing devotional services, and Krishna will come to see you. I mean, why do you have to worry about going to see Krishna? Krishna will come to see you. And I will also bring up 3.15.46 on screen. Let's see. Part Prabhu 3.15.46, faster pace, translation and purport. I have on screen.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Your voice is very soft.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead. Now
Am
is
I
okay.
audible?
Yeah, now is
Okay.
okay.
3.15.46. Kumara said, our dear Lord, you are not manifested to rascals, even though you are seated within the heart of everyone. But as far as we are concerned, we see you face to face, although you are unlimited. The statement we have heard about you from our father, Brahma, through the years, have now been actually realized by your kind appearance. Purport. The so-called yogis who concentrate their mind or meditate upon the impersonal or void are described here. This verse of Srimad Bhagavatam describes persons who are expected to be very expert yogis engaged in meditation, but who do not find the Supreme Personality of Godhead seated within the heart. These persons are described here as Duratma, which means a person who has a very crooked heart or a less intelligent person, just opposite to a Mahatma, which means one has a broad heart. Those so-called yogis who, although engaged in meditation, are not broad-hearted, cannot find the four-handed Narayana from form, even though he is seated within their heart. Although the first realization of supreme absolute truth is impersonal Brahman, one should not remain satisfied with experiencing the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Lord. In the Ishopanishad, also the devotee prays that the glaring effulgence of Brahman may be removed from his eyes so that he can see the real personal feature of the Lord and thus satisfy himself fully. Similarly, although the Lord is not visible in the beginning because of his glaring bodily effulgence, if a devotee sincerely wants to see him, the Lord is revealed to him. It is said in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord cannot be seen by our imperfect eyes. He cannot be heard by our imperfect ears, and he cannot be experienced by our imperfect senses. But that if one engages in devotional service with faith and devotion, then God reveals himself. Here,
So this line, the Lord cannot be seen by our imperfect senses, cannot be heard by imperfect ears, and cannot be experienced by imperfect senses. I will soon bring up the verse Atashi Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Indriya. But how you see is if one engages himself in devotional service with faith and devotion, then God reveals himself. So that next verse, which I will bring up, so it's not a Bhagavad Gita verse, it's just placed in Bhagavad Gita. So I have Bhagavad Gita 7.3 towards the end. So this is the verse. Atashi Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Graham Indriya. So that was the first part, that we cannot see the Lord with our imperfect senses. And the second line is how to see Sevan Mukhe hi Jivado Swayam Eva Spruti Ata. Follow me. You wanna read the translation, the verse and the translation?
Yes, Prabhuji. Atta Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhavet Grihyam Indriya Sevan Mukhehi Jivadhu Swayam Eva Spiriti Ada. No one can understand Krishna as he is by the blunt material senses, but he reveals himself to the devotees, being pleased with them for their transcendental loving services unto him.
All right. So don't try to see God. Do not be eager to see God. Rather, be eager to do so nice services that Krishna comes to see you. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Question number 10, multi-part question. Scientists have put a lot of time, energy, effort, and intelligence to invent advanced systems, technologies, etc. in the material world. Still, they are considered ignorant people in spiritual knowledge. Question is it possible for a learned spiritual person to invent some new things which can have a positive impact on general people in the material world? If the answer is yes, can you please give some examples? Very good. Bhagavatam gives you direct answer to this. We'll soon read. And yesterday's Srila Prabhupada's message is the direct answer that Srila Prabhupada knew some 50 plus years ago that on 5th of July 2026, this question will come up. So we'll soon read. Prabhupada says that as far as learning the film industry is out of question. Krishna industry is good engagement for us. So film industry is just an example that any industry in the material world is out of question for a devotee. Krishna industry is good engagement for all of us. So I will bring up 3.5.5 where Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that it is only the human society that is disturbed about food starvation, and to cover up the real fact of administrative mismanagement, they take shelter in the plea that population is increasing. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, there is no scarcity in the material world. Actually, the only scarcity is the scarcity of Krishna Bhakti. Otherwise, by the grace of the Lord, there is no scarcity of anything. And Sri Ishopanishad invocation mantra also says that material world is complete and perfect. Hence, there is no scarcity. It is the greed of the humans that is causing scarcity. But actually, it is the Krishna Bhakti that is scarce. Ritu, translation, purport, faster pace.
O great sage, kindly narrate how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the independent, desireless Lord of the three worlds and the controller of all energies, accepts incarnations and creates the cosmic manifestation with perfectly arranged regulative principles for its maintenance. Purport: Lord Krishna is the original personality of Godhead from whom the three creative incarnations, namely the Purush avatars, Karna, Vyashish, Karnan, Vasai Vishnu, Garbho Dakshai Vishnu, and Chiro Dakshai Vishnu expand. The whole material creation is conducted by the three Purushas in successive stages under the external energy of the Lord, and thus material nature is controlled by him. Thinking material nature to be independent is like seeding milk from the nipple-like bags on the neck of a goat. The Lord is independent and desireless. He does not create the material world for his own satisfaction, as we create our household affairs to fulfill our material desires. Actually, the material world is created for the illusory enjoyment of the conditioned souls who have been against the transcendental service of the Lord since time immemorial. But the material universes are full in themselves. There is no scarcity for maintenance in the material world. Because of their poor fund of knowledge, the materialists are disturbed when there is an apparent increase of population on the earth. Whenever there is a living being on the earth, however, his substance is immediately arranged by the Lord. The other species of living entities who far outnumber human society are never disturbed for maintenance. They are never seen dying of starvation. It is only human society that is disturbed about the food situation, and to cover up the real fact of administrative mismanagement, takes shelter in the plea that the population is excessively increasing. If there is any scarcity in the world, it is the scarcity of God consciousness. Otherwise, by the grace of the Lord, there is no scarcity of anything. Hare Krishna.
Right, so there is no scarcity. The only scarcity is scarcity of God consciousness. And further, in Bhagavatam 5.6.13, it says that the people of Bharatvarsh are most pious because they are accustomed to glorifying the auspicious activities of Lord's incarnations. Throughout the world, there is no question of bhakti yoga or devotional service. But the people of Bharatvarsh can easily understand devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, every inhabitant of Bharatvarsh can perfect his life by discharging bhakti yoga and then practicing and preaching bhakti yoga throughout the world for the benefit of everyone. So I will bring up 5, 6, 13 for this. 5, 6, 13, yeah. Raksha, translation, purport, faster pace.
Learned scholars chant about the transcendental qualities of Lord Rishabhadeva in this way. O this earthly planet contains 7 seas and many islands and lands, of which Bharatvarsha is considered the most pious. People of Bharatvarsha are accustomed to glorifying the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnations as Lord Rishabhadeva and others. All these activities are very auspicious for the welfare of the humanity. Purport: Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, as stated in this verse, Bharatvarsha is a most pious land. The followers of Vedic literature understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different incarnations, and they are privileged to glorify the Lord by following the directions of Vedic literature. After realizing the glories of human life, such people should take up the mission to spread the importance of human life throughout the whole world. This is the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The word Adi Punyam indicates that there are certainly many other pious men throughout the world, but the people of Bharatvarsha are even more pious. Therefore, they are fit to spread Krishna consciousness throughout the world for the benefit of all human society. Srila Madhavacharya also recognizes the land of Bharatvarsha, Visheshad Bharate Punyam. Throughout the world, there is no question of Bhagavad Bhakti or devotional service, but the people of Bharatvarsha can easily understand the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, every inhabitant of Bharatvarsha can perfect his life by discharging Bhagavad Bhakti and then preaching this cult throughout the world for the benefit of everyone. Hare Krishna.
Right? People of Bharatvarsh are very pious, supposed to be pious, and they can understand Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam scriptures, and their duty. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling them the duty of all inhabitants of Bharatvarsh is to spread Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, which the Indians are not doing at this time. So there is no need for a devotee to make any scientific inventions. Devotees can learn Bhagavad Gita and teach Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam because bhakti is the only scarcity. And the next question, next part of the question says, is it possible for a spiritually learned person to encourage a renowned scientist to gain spiritual knowledge and enable him to open a new era of inventions, helping common people? So I already said, there's no need for inventions. Scientists can also become a devotee, but there is absolutely no need for scientific inventions. Just learn Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and teach Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to the whole world. So Prabhupada's instruction from yesterday, I have on the screen. Padma Kumar Prabhu, you want to read Prabhupada's instruction for this question? Prabhupada already knew this question 50 years ago. Padma Kumar.
So far as the learning, the film industry, that is out of question. Krishna industry is good engagement for us. Let us do RVd5 July 4th, 1971.
So what devotees have done is, Prabhupada has written letters and they use the date of the letter and they keep sending out these clips every day. So July 4th, this came just yesterday. Today is July 5th and just yesterday. So 50 years ago, Prabhupada knew on July 5th, we'll have this question and Prabhupada already has the answer. Film industry is just an example. All industries is out of question for a devotee. Krishna industry is a good engagement for devotees. Does that answer the inquiry? Last question for today. We are taught that we can only understand Krishna's true message through a bona fide spiritual master. However, to ensure the spiritual master is bona fide, we are told to verify that the teachings perfectly match Krishna's. Question is, how can a conditioned soul whose senses are imperfect independently evaluate whether the guru aligns with Krishna if they haven't yet achieved realizations themselves? How does one escape this circular reasoning without relying on their own flawed material judgment? Very good. We have actually discussed this in Nectar of Instruction text number 1. That Nectar of Instruction text number 1 is for a disciple. So why is text number 1 starting with the qualification of a guru? And the answers we discussed is that the seeker or a disciple has to find a guru. Hence, the disciple should know the qualifications of a guru and be able to judge a guru. So guru's regulative qualifications are ability to control senses and conquer the mind, plus positive qualifications are of being engaged and attached to Krishna. And the second reason is that seeker needs to become a seer. Therefore, he needs to know the qualification he needs to acquire. So detachment from the world and ability to control the urges of the body and the mind, which makes us attached to the world, are actually important qualifications, important required qualifications for a bhakta. So Srila Rupa Goswami first talks about how to control the negative side of bhakti, the negative side of our own life, and then he will talk about how to nourish the positive sides in the Nectar of Instruction. So in text number 3, Nectar of Instruction, he gives 6 items that are favorable for bhakti. And text number 3 says Satovrite, means follow in the footsteps of previous Acharya. So many of the scriptural qualities are easily visible in spiritual masters, such as tolerance, mind control, anger control, speaking only Krishna Katha. Therefore, there is no prajalpa. Janasanga means associating only with devotees and giving up material association. So coming to the question that how to do this, if one tries to use his own imperfect senses to judge a spiritual master, he is bound to fail. Rather, the solution is, if one uses Shastra Chakshu and sees the scriptural qualities coincide with the behavioral of spiritual master, this way, by Shastra Chakshu, conditioned soul can see that the guru aligns with Krishna. So, I am conditioned. We have discussed in Bhagavad Gita at the very start that I cannot trust my own mind and intelligence. Therefore, Shastra Chakshu is the solution. So from day one, I have been using this word Shastra Chakshu, that whatever you say, whatever you hear, correlate with scriptures. Find a verse from Bhagavad Gita Bhagavatam, and that way you are living a perfect life. Does that answer the inquiry?
Yes, Prabhuji.
All right, thank you very much. So I went a little faster as I said that today, very soon, many of us from Toronto area, we have to go to the temple for the Gundicha cleanup. So all those in Toronto and around area, please come for services. We'll start just around 12 noon time. The whole temple will be full. We'll be cleaning the whole temple. Different areas. We'll be cleaning the kitchen. Other devotees will be cleaning the rest of the temple. So it's an auspicious Gundicha cleanup event. All of you please come. And as I mentioned at the start of the class, that next week, July 11th Saturday and July 12th Sunday is Rath Yatra. Therefore, next week we will have no class. So Friday, July 10th, no class. Saturday, July 11th, no class. And Sunday, July 12th, no class. I will send the next recording for your this batch number 5. I will send the next recording in sequence. And you populate these tracking points and inquiries on the Google form. Use the time, at least for those who are not in Toronto area, you definitely have the time to use the time for Krishna's service or listen to the recording. So inquiries whether I'll be engaged in the Rath Yatra. So I will be at the temple on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which is 9th July to 12th July. So you are all welcome to come for services. I have sent messages in the WhatsApp group for the services WhatsApp group. So you please come and engage in services and learn. So I'll be at the kitchen. You just come to the basement in the Toronto Temple kitchen and ask for my name, Ram Vilas. Ask somebody where the kitchen is, and I'm pretty known at the temple, so somebody will be able to guide you to me if you have not seen me before physically. And last announcement, which I said at the start also, that mid-September, the Radha Ashtami week, we'll be starting a new batch number 8, auspicious 8 number. So I request all of your help. If we can try to get at least 108 devotees join this new batch of Bhagavad Gita. And in that same Radha Ashtami week, for batch 6 and 7, a new batch of Srimad Bhagavatam will also start. So I will create visuals for all this so that you can use and share with your contacts. So Bhagavad Gita will be on Sundays, 9 a.m. Toronto time. The new batch of Srimad Bhagavatam for batch 6 and 7 will be Fridays, 9 p.m. Toronto time. And in that same week, for your this batch number 5, which will anyway get merged very soon, which batch 3 and 4. So for the combined batch 3, 4, and 5, in that Radha Ashtami week, we'll be starting canto number 3. So pretty important week. It's a mercy of Srimati Radharani that this has all been coincided and possible. So I request help from all of you. And as I mentioned at the last class, and we repeated today again, I had asked last week for all of you to connect with me in the next 2 to 4 days. It's been a week. Not everybody has done it. Some of you did connect. Thank you. So all of you, 100% of you, please connect with me for the need of spiritual master. Whether or not you are ready for initiation does not matter. Have a conversation with me offline. Whether or not you have had offline conversations with me before does not matter. Connect with me immediately. Whether or not you are ready for initiation does not matter. Take a spiritual master as a Siksha Guru as your starting point, and spiritual master will shower his mercy and guide you. That will fast forward your spiritual path. Is that doable by everybody? Last time everybody said yes for the sake of saying yes, but say yes only if you want to do it. So the answer should be, as my spiritual master says, say yes or yes. Everybody say yes or yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you for tolerating my fast pace today because I have to quickly get ready and travel to the temple, which takes a long time. I live far away from the temple. So we'll stop here. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.